Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Monday, April 27th, 2026. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, my husband, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2026, we are celebrating the 41st anniversary of Hotspots magazine, with Queer News Tonight sharing over 14,000 stories and 12 million views so far.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral Perspective. Queer God Squad discusses the ups and downs of gay rights in the Caribbean. In a landmark ruling on July 29, 2025, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, ECSC, struck down St. Lucia's colonial-era laws criminalizing consensual same-sex relations. The court declared sections 132 and 133 of the Criminal Code, which penalized, quote, buggery and, quote, gross indecency, with up to 10 years in prison, unconstitutional. The court found that these provisions violated fundamental rights to privacy, liberty, freedom of expression, and protection from discrimination. Though rarely enforced, the laws were criticized for fostering social stigma and legitimizing violence against LGBTQ+ individuals. The challenge was spearheaded by the Eastern Caribbean Alliance for Diversity and Equality, and also United and Strong. This ruling makes St. Lucia the 5th country in the Eastern Caribbean to decriminalize gay sex through the courts in recent years. Following similar victories in Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Dominica, activists hailed the decision as a historic win for human dignity and equality.
Belize decriminalized homosexuality a decade ago in 2016. Jamaica remains one of the most unfriendly Caribbean nations for LGBTQ+ persons. Activism and advocacy have increased in recent years, and there has been regional pressure to have Jamaica decriminalize homosexuality. But laws from the 1800s criminalizing consensual male intimacy remain on the books and carry penalties of up to a decade of hard labor. The Jamaican judiciary reviewed the laws and upheld them, but said Parliament is free to make new laws to render the old ones moot. Neither major political party in Parliament has been willing to take up that case.
While in Belize, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts and Dominica are making progress for LGBTQ rights, Jamaica remains a place where queer people have few protections and often find themselves in danger.
Trinidad and Tobago decriminalized homosexuality in 2018, but then recriminalized it in 2025. They did not, however, reinstate the old punishments. Instead of a maximum of 25 years in prison for consensual same-sex acts, the new penalties under recriminalization are a maximum of 5 years for buggery and 2 years for gross indecency.
The Queer God Squad remains in solidarity with our LGBTQ+ friends in the Caribbean. I'm glad to see these advancements. Of course, Jamaica remains a very scary place for LGBTQ+ people, but activism has increased over the years. So they may be the last ones to turn it around, but they're not going to give up until it comes around. So that's good. And what most of this is, of course, is layover from colonization. 17th, 18th century, 19th century religious values that were imported, and then the people that exported them to these places, they changed over the time, but what they left off there didn't change as much. So this is just a gift from the West, from Europe, and then later from the US. And so we exported hate, and we still export hatred. And it takes a lot longer to undo it than it does to do the original damage. So, but still, people are learning and deciding and insisting that human rights and dignity are more important than bigotry, more important than prejudice, even when they are wrapped up in the language of religious values. Let's see, what is the saying? Villainy is never so villainy is never so dangerous as when it's wrapped up in virtue.
Yeah.
So it's true. Also, this is a life lesson for all of us. Don't become those whom you despise. If the colonizer was bad for your economy, if the colonizer was bad for your race, if it was bad for your freedom in government, if it was bad for women, if it was bad for, then also bad for queers, also bad for trans, also bad whatever. But why adopt this and not that? So you don't want to be the oppressor. You don't want to be, hello, gay men, we made a lot of progress. They're trying to take some of it back, but we got the progress, and then we didn't extend that courtesy to women, to trans people, to non-binary, to asexual. We got ours, and now it's good enough. No.
Yeah.
No, don't become part of the oppressive system. Don't become those you despise. And so I'm glad they're learning that, though, that we hated them for this, and this, but we adopted their hateful thing about this. And that's not fair. Let's get rid of it. So I'm glad that that's happening. It's going to be a slow sell in Jamaica, but I thought it was going to be a slow sell all over the Caribbean. And it seems to be picking up some momentum. So good luck.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what makes Jamaica so different than so much of the rest of the Caribbean. What is it that causes people to stay into that level of hate? And it seems as though it starts when children are very, very young. The idea of hating someone, it almost seems as though they're indoctrinated into it. So in order for change to happen, it has to be an institutional change. The legislature has to say it's okay. They have to break those chains of oppression, of colonialism, and start looking at the rest of the Caribbean and seeing that they are so out of step with everything else that's going on. And the point that you make about the queer community not reaching out to the rest of their own brethren is so poignant, is so true. I don't know how we fix that except by continuing to name it, highlight it, and say that this just can't go on.
Jamaica could be a big leader, too, in helping other countries become more progressive, because they're sort of the superpower of islands.
Yeah.
They have over 1 million people. They're the largest population. They actually are the protector of, like, the Turks and Caicos. Turks and Caicos used to hire the Bahamas to protect them. The Bahamas got too expensive, so they hire Jamaica. So they're the protector of other countries. They have the when there was that kerfuffle with Cuba and Grenada and all that stuff back in the 80s. Jamaica was the largest Caribbean military force as part of that. And so, yeah, they've got the most people. They've got the most advanced military. I mean, it's still pretty small, but I mean, comparatively. And so they have a lot of influence. And so if they were to catch on, that would spread like hot grease.
The one that surprises me, though, is Trinidad and Tobago. They decriminalized it and then came back and recriminalized it. And I have to kind of wonder why that happened. Was it pressure from, other countries, or I'm guessing not other islands, because they seem to be more progressive than some of the others, than Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, the penalties aren't as tight as they used to be, but still, there's just something about it that doesn't sit right with me. And I got to tell you, I'm not really sure. I actually have some time scheduled in the Caribbean this next year, and I'm not sure that I really want to get off the ship in Trinidad and Tobago anymore. So things to think about.
Sunshine Cathedral has a long history since 2006 with our counterparts in Jamaica. And working with them. We still work with a lot of them today, and some of the other ones throughout the Caribbean island. But I still think that so much of this is about religious phobia. Yeah. And it's that influence of, and when I would say this, I would categorize this as Black religious phobia, Caribbean, Jamaican, Caribbean religious phobia. I mean, this is indigenous phobia, where you mentioned earlier, other places have already changed, but yet they are still holding out to this thing of this intense religious homophobia. And we also have to look at the United States for having a hand in that as well, because at one point there was this large movement of churches in the United States going down to places like Jamaica and other places throughout the Caribbean and seeding feed money to import this type of level of religious phobia. So I think, no one's hand is not a part of this, but yet I believe that their hands can overturn all of this. And just knowing kind of what I do, there are enough people there, both LGBTQ plus and allies, that can really overturn this, and they can do it if they want to.
And that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about. Please like and share this and other episodes of the Queer God Squad.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we're all in this together.
Also remember that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.